Son of a...
This is pretty much the worst video ever made.
Napoleon, like anyone can even know that.
Hello my friends, and welcome to Tom's Tinkering and Adventures. Coming to you from the throne room here. So, I got up at 3:30 this morning, utilized the facilities, went to be a good citizen washing my hands, and the handle came off in my hands. Ain't no good. So today we're going to show you how to change out a bathroom faucet. So first thing we want to do is get underneath this cabinet here. There you go. And empty that all out and shut the water off. And you never know what you're going to find underneath the cabinet. Sometimes you got a wiener dog. You never know. You want to help, Wilbur? He's a pretty good plumber, but empty your stuff out, shut your water off. Of course, when this broke off on me, it wasn't when it was in the off position, so water was running, so I had to get under here and shut this off. And now would be a good time to install these quarter turn shut-offs if you haven't already got them. Your next step is going to be to disconnect your water lines here. So I'm going to grab a crescent wrench. You could probably use the right size wrench. I don't know what that might be. 3/4, 11/16. I'll grab a couple. We'll take a look. Got them both disconnected under here. Mine happened to be 5/8, but I did bring the adjustable wrench. And now I'm going to disconnect the drain. I've already loosened it. Get yourself some kind of a tub, whether you got a bowl or whatever, because these things are full of stuff and it usually doesn't smell the greatest. So that's off. Now I'm going to get a light and get you under here, but I think we should be able to see it. I'm going to disconnect this drain actuator here. That's what connects to this piece here. There you go. See how that lifts that, and I'll actuate it now. You'll see. There you go. So usually that's just a clip thing that goes on there. Let me get some light under here for us. This is a very small bathroom, so hopefully if you're doing this, it's a little bit more room. So basically all you do is you squeeze this thing and you can slide it off the end. This one may be kind of a fighter for us because it's such close ratio here, close aspects of movement. So we'll see. I might have to just take this whole drain off the bottom. There you go. That's what we'll do. Not a big deal. Hopefully. So let's see. How this work? Yep, that worked. So at your own discretion. All right, once we get that off, we're gonna start. Oh, I guess it's off. All right, we're gonna start. Let me flip you inside. I'm gonna stick my head in here. And oh yeah, it's beautiful up there. And this is what happens. These things get old and it's very crusty. But we'll try to get these water lines off first. There's not much room to work, so it might be easier to just get them bolts off, even though they're very crusty. That one is. The one on the other side doesn't look bad. 1/2 inch or 7/16. So I got some deep sockets and a long extension. So I'm gonna fight with that. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to stick my head in there. Did you hear the nice acoustics? Okay, on mine that happened to be 7/16, and this one was so corroded on there that the stud itself came out, but that's okay. And then once they got loose, there's these plates that kind of hold it in there. And now the whole thing should come out. There we go. So now we'll go open our new package up and I'll bring it in here. And what we'll probably do is we're gonna move these hoses over to it, and then we'll look and see if this thing is similar, same, different. I think I don't know if I got the exact same faucet or one very close to it. Okay, here's all the crap that came with it here. So we look pretty similar to the other one. And instead of having those little, where are those things? I threw it in here, the crusty washers. Instead of having these like slide on pieces like that, it's got these bars. Same thing, different concept. We got this piece here, so probably only goes on one way. There you go. I think we can figure it out. So we'll put that on. Then we'll put our hoses on. They always give you a whole new drain, so we might as well change that out too. This other one looked a little bit crusty inside. That's pretty normal for years of use, so it just looks gross, but it is what it is. Here's our drain rod. So when you put these on, you're going to want to use either this Teflon tape, which if you work on things in the house, you should have this. It's super cheap. It's like less than $1. Or you can use this kind too. I kind of like this kind here. It's just the same. It's like liquid Teflon. So either or, doesn't matter. So if you use the tape, wrap like 2 wraps around. If you use this stuff, just gob some on there. Tighten these up. You don't want to leak after you're done, especially up in here. So I'm going to assemble this. I'll show you what it looks like. For more in-depth stuff, RTFM, or if you're a man, that's what you do, throw that away. Sometimes when you're doing a job like this, you realize that things just aren't going to fit in, and you're going to have to do some fun stuff, some modifying, some messing around. So I had forgotten that on this sink, the drain is just a little bit lower, and I had to modify this drain pipe that comes out of the sink. You know, it's your drain and all that. And I had to modify it a little bit longer. And the new one, of course, isn't long enough. So I could go back to the hardware store and cut this one down, get a little extension thing like this and glue it on and do all that or whatever. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix and match. So I've taken, this is the old stuff, taking all that off, and I'm putting the parts. This is the new one that came with the new faucet. So I'm mixing and matching some of the new and old parts. So sometimes you might have to do that. Sometimes there's other things like your old faucet may have a different size hoses. So the hoses you take off aren't going to fit. And honestly, you really should probably get new hoses, but I guess I didn't. So there you go. But new hoses is probably a good idea. Anyway, I'm going to test all this stuff before, and if it looks like it's all going to work, then we're going to do this. Otherwise, back to the hardware store, and you know how that goes. Well, it appears like my mix match is going to work. Let me see if I can get you set up here. Sorry, a little shaky and crazy. You're going to give yourself an epileptic fit watching this. There you go. All right, so that was off of the old one. That's off of the new one. That's off of the new one. There's our drain. And let me show you how that works in here. If you've never done this. So this piece screws on the top. That's what you see inside of the sink. And then you drop your drain piece in, and you have to turn it. Hopefully, here, I'm gonna pull it out so you can see. That piece right there, this thing's going to turn all around, but you want that piece lined up directly in the hole there, so then this piece will engage in it and lift it and drop it. Okay, let's get all this stuff installed. There we go. We're going to drop our new assembly in here. Just going to feed these lines in. Oh, sorry, can't see. I'm trying to do this one-handed. It's really not as easy as you would think one-handed, but there you go, we can do it. And there you go. It's okay. Gotta get this little pad squared away where we want it. And then there's a little bit of wiggle room there, see? So I'm just gonna kind of center it as nicely as I can. That noise you heard was our drain rod falling off. You can see this one. You can put it on here. I don't know if I can pull that all the way out or not. There you go. So that's going to be sticking down. This attaches onto it like that, and then you can adjust the length to then line up to our drain deal that we just showed you. All right, so now I got to crawl under there. These things cross over, and that's what holds it, and then put the nuts on there, tighten it up. So upside down, trying to hold things up there. Everything's hanging in your face. It's not fun, but it's not terrible either. I mean, I don't know what a plumber charges to install one of these, probably a couple $100. Not too bad. When you're underneath here, so I was laying my head in here, looking straight up, you can center it very easily underneath because you can see where the bolts are lining up and where the drain pull is lining up right in the center, the hole for that. So it's not that terribly difficult to line it up underneath. So I got that thing in there nice and tight. So now I think I'm actually going to hook up the water hoses right now. So like I said, put some Teflon on here, tighten these down, and then I'm going to put my bucket under here, and then I can clean out all the stuff here with running water, which will be nice because there's some gunk in here from years and years of the drain and all that. So we'll try to clean that gunk up before we put the drain in. All right, now's the time. Turn on the water and inspect for leaks. You always want to inspect for leaks before we get done underneath here. I see one drip of water here, but it's probably from installing it. So we'll wipe this down, make sure there's no water leaking, and then we can test this thing here. There you go, missing the drain, but there you go. So now I can clean out this sink and get this ready to install this drain. Here's another item you're going to need: plumber's putty. You don't need to buy a giant tub of it like this. It's probably enough for a homeowner to last 20 years, I should know, because I've had this for well over 5 or 10 years, and you can see how much I've used. So this stuff just kind of stays malleable for a long time, and I just turn it into, do a little Play-Doh action, just like you're back in high school. Yeah, that's what they did in our high school anyway. Taught us how to play with Play-Doh. Not really. And then you just push it around on here. And some of this might squeeze out when we tighten this down. And then you just clean that up. But that's ready to go in here. Drop that in. We'll screw this in till this bottoms out on there. And then we will tighten this one up. Align this towards the back. And then start piecing everything together. Drop this in. Hook this up. Attach this to the rod that's already in there. Like I said, it's got this little bolt on here so we can set the height of this where we want it. So then it'll pull on that rod and open and close. So I'm gonna get this all set up and I'll show it to you when it's done. There's our little drain surround. Did pretty good. I don't see too much around the outside of that. And then we got the valve pointing straight back for this. So now we can start assembling. We'll drop this in. This little blue thing is just a sticker to keep it from getting scratched. So we'll drop that in and try to drop it straight down with that thing towards the back, remember? That's why we pre-assemble it before we put it in here, so we understand how this all works. Otherwise, you could be very confused. And there's probably not room for me under there, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook this onto the pull, the drain pull over here, and just get an idea where I want it. And I'll fit this in here. We've got a new clip for this one, so I'll show you what it looks like. All right, on my first attempt at setting this thing up, you can see here I've got it pulled up and pushed down. It's not quite opening enough. So what you need to do then is get up there, loosen that little adjuster, and then slide that up or down wherever you need to get your full stroke on that. 30 seconds later, that's all it takes to get the full stroke for me. And we're good to go. So now I'll test to make sure that this thing holds. We don't have any leaks. Get your bucket under there. Run it up, fill it up, check it out. All right, last thing we got to do is hook up our trap here. So you can replace all this stuff if you want as well, but usually it's good for a couple of go-arounds. And like I said, this one just is odd the way it's laid out. Maybe it's because of the height of the sink and the vanity, I don't know. But I had to add that extension. So sometimes you're gonna have weird stuff like that when you work on plumbing, especially in an older house or something that's been retrofitted several times. But let me get this tightened up, and we'll let it sit for about 30 minutes and come and check for drips and all that. So get a dry towel and wipe everything up. Always do the leak check, make sure you're good to go. Yeah, we are good to go. Awesome. Very good. Everything works. Easy day, baby. Now, do I really want to be crawling around under my sink and doing all this? No. But I also don't want to be paying $200 to have a plumber do it. So there you go. I just banked $200. Took me about an hour, including making a video. So there you go. It's rated about a 1.5 to 2 on the Tom's Tinkering Adventure scale. That's something I maybe should start. That's a good idea. All right. Okay, if you're liking my content, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there and find your adventure, even if it's in the bathroom. Adios.